As the first light of dawn broke over the savanna surrounding Lake Ayasi, the Hadzabe camp was already bustling with activity. The early rays of sunlight filtered through the low shrubs, glistening on the thin layer of mist that still blanketed the ground. Beside the smoldering campfires, the hunters quietly prepared for the long day ahead. Today, they were not searching for small antelopes or other familiar game. Their targets were two of the land's giants: hippopotamuses lurking in the deep waters and giraffes roaming across the vast savanna. After checking their bows, arrows, spears, and the small axes hanging at their sides, the group left the camp. They walked in silence, communicating only through nods and brief hand signals. The Hadzabe understood that patience was always the most important weapon on any hunt. Across this immense landscape, a single careless sound could cause the prey to disappear before the hunt had truly begun. Their first destination was a watering area surrounded by low grasslands. Before the sun climbed high into the sky, hippos often returned to their familiar pools after a night of feeding. Along the damp, muddy banks, the hunters quickly spotted large footprints deeply impressed in the ground. Flattened patches of grass and long streaks of mud suggested that a herd of hippos had passed through not long before. The group immediately slowed their pace, moving around the bushes to reach a more favorable observation point. It did not take long before the massive animals appeared in the murky water. Only their heads and backs rose above the surface, yet their sheer size was still overwhelming. Hippopotamuses are among the most dangerous animals in Africa. They can charge at remarkable speeds and will readily attack anything they perceive as a threat. For that reason, the Hadzabe never approached too closely. When an opportunity presented itself, arrows were released from a safe distance. The hippo immediately thrashed about, sending large waves across the water. The entire herd became agitated and quickly retreated into deeper water. After many hours of persistent tracking, the animal gradually weakened and finally collapsed near the shore. The first success of the day's hunt belonged to them. After a short period of rest, the hunters continued deeper into the savanna. Their next target was the giraffe, the tallest land animal, and a challenge far from simple. Large footprints and acacia branches stripped of leaves high above the reach of other animals quickly revealed the herd's direction of travel. The tracking effort continued across several areas of sparse brush. The hunters repeatedly stopped to inspect the ground, observe freshly broken leaves, and listen for distant sounds. Eventually, the giraffes appeared near the edge of an acacia grove. Their long necks, stretching into the blue sky, created a scene that was both peaceful and majestic. However, giraffes possess excellent eyesight and can detect danger from great distances. A single unusual movement would send the entire herd running. The Hadzabe split up and approached from different directions, using the bushes as cover. They moved forward one careful step at a time, making sure the wind did not carry their scent toward the animals. When an adult giraffe separated from the herd in search of fresh leaves, the hunters acted at once. Their arrows flew with precision. Startled, the giraffe bolted away, but the group remained determined, following its trail over a long distance. The pursuit continued beneath the scorching afternoon sun before the animal gradually slowed and finally collapsed on the open grassland. As the sun began to sink behind the horizon, the hunters returned to the camp with the rewards of a hard day's work. Campfires were lit, and their warm orange glow spread through the gathering darkness. Children and elders gathered around the hunters to hear stories of tracking hippos near the water and pursuing giraffes across the endless savanna. For the Hadzabe, every hunt provides not only food, but also a testament to perseverance, experience, and the bond between humans and nature. As darkness settled over Lake Ayasi, those stories continue to be told beside the fire, an inseparable part of tribal life in the wild landscapes of Africa.
The sun had just risen above the low bushes of the Tanzanian savanna, and the atmosphere around the Hadzabe camp had become more tense than usual. Large paw prints stretching toward the forest edge revealed that a male lion had been appearing near the tribe's hunting grounds for several consecutive days. To the Hadzabe people, lions were not only the most dangerous predators of the savanna, but also rivals that forced even the most experienced hunters to move with extreme caution. But when herds of antelope and wild boars began disappearing from the familiar hunting areas because of the lion's presence, they understood that this confrontation would eventually become unavoidable. There were no loud noises or chaotic preparations like those of modern hunting teams. The Hadzabe quietly inspected their bows, sharpened their spear tips, and covered their bodies with layers of dust to reduce human scent. Their arrows were coated with poison extracted from local desert plants, weapons that had accompanied them for generations across this harsh land. The hunting trail led them through thick, dry thorn bushes, where the lion's tracks appeared clearly in the soft ground. Several tree branches had been clawed apart, and flattened patches of grass showed that the animal had passed through not long before. The Hadzabe moved extremely slowly, making almost no sound at all. Every step was carefully calculated to avoid snapping dry branches or sending birds scattering from the bushes. In this hunt, even the smallest noise could turn everything deadly. As they approached an area filled with large rocks near the forest edge, the group suddenly discovered the fresh carcass of an antelope. The hindquarters had been torn apart, while the ground around it was covered with drag marks and enormous paw prints. That meant the lion was still very close. The atmosphere instantly became heavy. Several men quickly climbed onto high rocks to observe from a distance, while the remaining hunters crouched low behind thorn bushes, gripping their spears tightly. Then a deep, muffled roar suddenly echoed from the forest edge. The sound was not especially loud, yet it was enough to silence the entire savanna. From within the tall grass, a massive male lion slowly emerged. The dark mane surrounding its neck made it appear even larger beneath the morning sunlight. It did not run immediately, but stood still, watching the hunters with cold, unblinking eyes. In that moment, the distance between man and predator was only a few dozen meters. One Hadzabe hunter on the left began moving in a wide circle to distract the animal. At the same time, a poison-tipped arrow suddenly shot through the scorching air and struck deeply into the lion's shoulder. The beast instantly let out a furious roar before charging straight into the bushes. The group quickly scattered in different directions, never remaining in one spot for too long. They understood that a wounded lion was more dangerous than any other creature on the savanna. The chase continued for hours beneath the brutal African heat. The Hadzabe did not attempt a direct assault, but instead kept their distance while silently following the trail of blood and crushed grass. The poison on the arrow slowly began taking effect, causing the lion's movements to weaken and slow. From time to time, a faint roar echoed in the distance like the final warning of the king of the savanna. As the sun slowly lowered toward the horizon, the hunters finally found the lion lying beneath a large tree in the middle of the barren land. No one rushed forward. They stood motionless for a long time, making sure the animal was no longer capable of fighting back. Only when everything was completely safe did the group slowly approach. For the Hadzabe people, this was not simply a hunt, but also an act of respect toward one of nature's most powerful rivals. They returned to the camp with their prize as women and children erupted into cheers. A fire was quickly lit in the center of the clearing, its golden glow reflecting across faces covered in dust after a long and exhausting day. Songs, dancing, and the steady rhythm of drums echoed throughout the African night. In that wild land, the life of the Hadzabe people continued just as their ancestors had survived for thousands of years, relying on hunting skills, patience, and courage to face the harshest forces of nature.
Across the African savanna, a massive buffalo moves slowly through the tall grass, its alert eyes scanning the surroundings. For the Hadzabe tribe, this is an extremely dangerous prey. A single mistake could turn the hunt into a serious risk. From the very beginning, the group understands they are facing a true survival challenge on the open plains. Before the hunt begins, the Hadzabe prepare their bows and arrows using traditions passed down for generations. Beneath the shade of acacia trees, they choose straight wood for the bow, carefully carving and bending it to achieve the right flexibility. The wooden arrows are sharpened and fixed securely with natural resin. For them, bows and arrows are not just hunting tools but knowledge carried through many generations. The Hadzabe move almost silently, stepping slowly through the tall grass while studying the ground. On the soft soil, the large tracks of the buffalo are clearly visible. For experienced hunters, each track reveals direction and movement. Broken branches and pressed grass show the animal passed here not long ago, meaning the distance between hunters and prey is slowly closing. The tension rises as the signs become fresher. Disturbed grass and newly pressed soil show the buffalo is very close. Every movement becomes cautious. The hunters communicate with quick glances and small gestures, careful not to make a sound. Their coordination is nearly perfect, because in the wild, understanding each other can mean survival. A sudden sign appears when the grass ahead shifts slightly, making the entire group stop instantly. Within seconds, the massive shape of the buffalo emerges from the grass. Its powerful body and watchful eyes make the air feel tense. The distance between both sides is now very short. The Hadzabe know that from this moment, every move must be calculated carefully. The buffalo does not stay still. It moves slowly, changing direction as if testing the air around it. With strong survival instincts, it can sense danger quickly. In that tense moment, a Hadzabe hunter raises his bow. An arrow flies through the tall grass and strikes the buffalo. After a few staggering steps, the massive animal finally collapses onto the savanna grass. The Hadza approach carefully, keeping a safe distance for a few seconds to make sure the animal is completely still. Once everything is certain, the group gathers around the buffalo. For them, it is not only a hunting success but an important source of food for the entire tribe. Soon after, they prepare to carry the meat back to camp. A fire is quickly lit in the center of the camp, dry wood crackling and casting a warm glow. Pieces of buffalo meat are placed near the flames, slowly cooking in the heat. The smell of roasted meat spreads through the air, mixing with conversation and laughter after a long day of hunting. For the Hadza, a meal around the fire is more than food. It is a moment for the tribe to share the reward of the hunt and strengthen their bond on the African plains. In the end, the hunt concludes with a large prey. For the tribe, every successful hunt not only provides valuable food but also keeps alive the survival skills passed down for generations. On this wild land, experience, patience, and teamwork always determine the outcome of each hunt. If you enjoyed this story, leave a comment and follow the channel to explore more real survival journeys in the wild.
On the vast savanna near Lake Eyasi in Tanzania, the Hadzabe tribe begins a challenging day of hunting. Rather than targeting a single animal, they set their sights on several species today. Massive hippopotamuses in the waterholes, elephants moving in herds, and lions, the rulers of the savanna. Before dawn, the entire camp is already awake. The fire is dying down as the hunters inspect their bows, arrows, and small axes. Silence is a rule. Any unnecessary sound could alert the highly sensitive animals to their presence. The hunters split into small groups and move along narrow trails, winding through low acacia bushes. They pause frequently to observe the ground and read the signs. Footprints press into the mud, broken branches, and fresh streaks of wet earth all tell a story about the presence of hippos or elephants. Drawing on knowledge passed down through generations, they can distinguish the tracks of a hippo moving through water from those of a forest elephant crossing soft ground. Accurate identification helps them choose the best approach without being detected. As they near a small marsh, an unusual sound rises from the water. A large hippopotamus, its powerful muscles rippling beneath its skin, emerges to breathe. The hunting party remains concealed behind bushes along the bank, keeping a safe distance. Some hunters gently toss decoys to test the animal's reaction. The hippo appears curious but not alarmed. Working together, they position arrows fitted with lines and aim at strategic points. In an instant, they leap forward and release their shots with precision. The hippopotamus thrashes in the water, but eventually collapses onto the mud, its enormous body sinking amid the hunter's quiet celebration. Not long afterward, the group heads toward the grasslands where a herd of elephants has been moving. Massive footprints are clearly visible in the soft soil, revealing the herd's journey, including mature adults and young calves following behind. The Hadzabe choose a favorable position, avoiding direct intrusion, and instead waiting from a distance while observing every movement. When an adult elephant steps into an opening between the bushes, the bows and arrows are already prepared. Once again, patience and precise coordination bring results. An elephant is struck, and the group quickly moves in to complete the hunt using traditional methods, ensuring the safety of both the hunters and the remaining elephants. Their sense of victory remains incomplete as they continue toward lion territory. A pride of male and female lions appears, their strong bodies and alert eyes reflecting constant vigilance. The Hadzabe understand that lions are swift and intelligent predators that cannot be approached in the same manner as other animals. They watch from afar, read the wind, and move slowly through the bushes, attempting to get closer without being noticed. However, every effort proves futile. A single watchful glance and a powerful step are enough for the lions to detect the hunters. One lion releases a threatening roar, while the rest of the pride retreats into the shade, forcing the Hadzabe to stop their pursuit. Patience alone is sometimes not enough against an apex predator like the lion. They continue observing for a while before deciding to withdraw safely, recording the pride's behavior for future hunts. After successfully hunting a hippopotamus and an elephant, the group returns to camp with their game and a sense of pride. Along the way, They gather wild fruits and collect honey from small beehives hidden within hollow tree trunks. Every activity unfolds naturally, blending into the rhythm of daily life on the savanna. Upon returning, they rekindle the fire, prepare food, and share their experiences. Stories about the lion encounter are retold, not with regret, but as lessons for the younger generation on observation, patience, and respect for nature. The afternoon passes peacefully. Some hunters repair their bows and arrows, while others watch the birds and small animals nearby. They understand that a hunting day is not only about securing prey, but also about learning animal behavior, maintaining balance with nature, and refining essential survival skills. In Hadzabe culture, every hunt is a living lesson in patience, cooperation, and respect for all living creatures. Successfully hunting animals such as hippos and elephants provides food and tools for survival, while failing to overcome the lion serves as a reminder that nature often favors those that are strongest and most cunning. As the sun sets and golden light stretches across the savanna, the Hadzabe bring their long day to a close with gratitude, continuing to preserve their ancient traditions and adding another chapter to the enduring story of survival on this land.
Not a loud chase, but a quiet preparation. As the first light touches the Yida land, the Hadza hunters leave their camp. There is no signal, no pressure, yet every step shows they have followed this rhythm for a long time. Each movement is slow and steady, as if they are not walking on the ground, but reading it.
They do not farm.
Baboons are among the hardest prey to approach in this region. They move in groups, always keeping watch and reacting quickly to even the smallest changes in their environment. An adult is not only fast but strong enough to create distance when it senses danger. Because of that, the hunt is not about direct pursuit, but about understanding how they move and choosing the right moment. The journey begins by crossing low grasslands and open woodland. The Hadza do not look ahead to search for prey, but often lower their gaze to study the ground. A fresh footprint, a patch of disturbed soil, or a broken branch is enough to determine direction. Every small detail is noted and connected into a clear path forward. After crossing a dry stretch of land, the group stops at a shallow dip where water can be found. They use their hands to dig into the sand, waiting until moisture appears and water slowly rises from below. Once it clears, they drink directly from their hands. The water is limited, but enough to ease their thirst and restore focus before continuing the journey. As they leave the water source, the group continues moving at their familiar pace. Hidden among the dry bushes, an intact nest of eggs catches their attention. It is not the main goal of the hunt, but it becomes a valuable food source. Without hesitation, they carefully collect the eggs and carry them along, then move on, keeping their focus as if this moment were simply a natural part of the journey. Then the moment appears. Through the dense branches, a troop of baboons slowly comes into view. The smaller ones move first, while a few larger individuals stay behind, watching carefully. Their alertness is clear in every movement. Almost immediately, the group identifies a large adult, an ideal target for the entire effort since early morning. From this point, everything moves faster while remaining controlled. Distances are adjusted with each step, and their eyes stay fixed on the prey's reactions. When the moment comes, the action is decisive and precise. Within a short time, the large baboon is secured. The silence of the morning is replaced by brief cheers, just enough to release the tension built throughout the hunt. The catch is carried back as the light begins to soften. As soon as they reach camp, everyone shifts naturally into the next stage without instruction. One group quickly gathers dry branches left from earlier, arranging them into a small pile for the fire. Others begin preparing the animal, cleaning each part with the familiarity of a process repeated many times before. Dried baobab shells are split open and cleaned inside, becoming natural bowls. One person sets flat stones as a base, while another pours water into a cooking container. As the fire grows, its glow reflects on the steady movements around it. Meat is placed on skewers and turned evenly over the flames, while other portions are cooked with forest leaves and roots to create a warm dish. The aroma spreads through the air, blending with thin trails of smoke rising upward. When the food is ready, the group gathers into a familiar circle. There is no strict division, food is passed from hand to hand, each person taking a share before passing it on. Conversations begin, recalling the moment they spotted the troop, the approach, and the timing that made it work. Laughter mixes with the crackling fire, closing the day with a sense of natural connection. If you find this journey worth watching, leave a comment and don't forget to follow the channel.
The heavy frame, the deer. And ours, it was ready to fight back.
Dawn gently spreads across the dry lands of Tanzania. In that stillness, the barefoot steps of the Hadzabe tribe move quietly into the forest, unhurried, silent, as if blending into the very breath of nature. They live as their ancestors did tens of thousands of years ago, hunting and gathering, relying entirely on the natural world. And today, we will explore more deeply this remarkable way of life.
As all the combs will be highly saturated in honey.
The men of the tribe leave the camp in silence. They carry simple tools, bows and arrows coated with plant-based toxins and a rare substance. On the dry ground, they read tracks like turning the pages of a familiar book. A broken branch, disturbed leaves, or a faint lingering scent in the air. Everything leads the way. Ahead, a leopard appears, agile, powerful, and alert. They move immediately. No commands are given. No clear signals exchanged, yet everyone understands through a silent language passed down for generations. Sometimes they stop, not from exhaustion, but to listen. Their ears follow the wind. Their eyes track the smallest movements. A group of hyenas appears in the distance, and behind them, a pride of lions watches silently. Everything is a signal, a chain of movements unfolding in silence. Ahead, the leopard remains focused. It has no idea that it has become the target. When the moment comes, they draw their bows. The arrow is released, fast, clean, precise. The animal falls. There is no cheering, only a lingering silence between a life fading away and the people who depend on it to survive. But the story does not end there. In rare moments, when a leopard enters their range, they can also bring it down with a single precise shot.
This one, and arrow was.
The space around them suddenly shifts. Everything becomes unnaturally quiet, and then a leopard bursts out like a flash of lightning. Arrows strike the ground in front of it as a warning. But in a split second, another arrow is released. So fast, it is almost invisible. The animal collapses. There is no celebration, no unnecessary reaction. They simply step forward and continue moving, as if everything follows a familiar rhythm. Here, an invisible boundary exists between predators, not to confront, but to coexist. For them, Bringing down a leopard is not about proving strength, but about maintaining balance and protecting the tribe. As the sun rises higher, the tribe returns to camp with their modest catch. A fire is quickly started. No lighters, no matches, no gas stoves. Only hands and knowledge passed down through generations. The meat is cooked with wild plants gathered from the forest. No complex seasoning, no recipes. They gather around the fire, sharing each portion and offering the best pieces to one another. There's no concept of ownership. Everything belongs to the community. Watching the Hadzabe, we begin to notice something unusual about ourselves. We have refrigerators full of food, while they only have what nature provides each day. Yet they live, and they live fully.
Everyone sat together in a ring. Food is not simply fuel.
In their world, there is no concept of enemies, only different beings sharing the same land. And perhaps in the rush of modern life, what we truly need is not more, but to relearn how to live simply like them. We often believe that skill comes from technology, from tools designed to make things faster and more efficient. But here, a single arrow striking from a distance, a hive found among hundreds of trees, or a root dug from the right place, all come from memory, observation, and thousands of hours of practice. It is a different kind of intelligence, a form of knowledge not written in books.
No one hoards. No one claims the... And the glue that binds their community is a journey into life, culture, and
perhaps what surprises a modern world the most is not just how they survive, but how they define enough. They work to live, not live to work. They share instead of accumulate. And they spend time with each other, not because they are free, but because it is what matters most.
Swaying under the gentle
In the dry lands surrounding Lake Iasi, water is the most valuable resource. In the dry season the remaining water holes become a gathering place. But these life-sustaining places are also the territory of dangerous predators. Along the muddy banks, crocodiles often lie motionless for hours, waiting for an opportunity. The Hadzabe understand this danger well and avoid direct confrontation. knowing that even a small mistake can have serious consequences. Even so, they must approach these water sources every day, where the line between safety and danger remains very thin. As the first rays of sunlight appear on the horizon, the Hadzabe hunters leave their camp, carrying their traditional handmade bows. Without maps or modern equipment, they rely on tracks in the soil, the direction of the wind, and knowledge passed down through generations. Along the way, they find antelope footprints, ground disturbed by aardvarks, and trails leading toward the lake. Every sign has the potential to lead to a new hunt. The hunters move forward in short, careful steps while constantly observing the terrain. When they locate an animal hidden among low bushes, the archers slowly spread out to gain better positions. The distance closes little by little. When the opportunity finally appears, the bows are drawn at the same time. Arrows fly forward and disappear into the dry grass. Not every hunt ends successfully, but patience has always been an essential part of their way of life. Once the hunt is over, there is no loud celebration. The animal is processed quickly at the site. Everyone joins in naturally, as if each person already knows exactly what to do. For the Hadzabe, hunting is not about proving individual strength. It is a shared responsibility that helps provide food for the entire community. The result, therefore, belongs to everyone, not to a single hunter. As the sun rises higher, the group gathers in a familiar clearing. There, the game is prepared for a meal that will feed the entire tribe. The Hadzabe do not hunt more than they truly need. They take only enough to sustain their way of life and continue into the following days. This approach has allowed them to live in balance with nature for a very long time. Food is never wasted, and every usable part of the animal is put to good use. Beyond their value as food, many animals are connected to play important roles in keeping watch, tracking animals, and assisting hunters in many different situations. As night falls over Lake Iasi, the Hadzabe hunters gather around the fire to eat and talk after a long day. During daylight hours, they follow animal tracks across vast stretches of wilderness. At night, they return to their community and continue a way of life that has endured through countless generations. Perhaps it is this strong sense of unity, combined with their hunting skills, that allows them to overcome the challenges of the wild. If you enjoyed learning about the Hadzabe people's journey of survival, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories about people and nature from around the world.
On the savannah, not every hunt begins with the search for prey. There are days when the first thing humans must face is the presence of another predator. The morning unfolds slowly. The early sunlight is not yet harsh, just enough to highlight the smallest details on the dry ground. The Hadzabe group leaves the camp in a familiar rhythm, each carrying a bow and the experience accumulated from years of living with this land. The hunt always begins with walking and observing. They move slowly, never spreading too far apart, every step intentional. They read the ground, notice flattened grass, and listen to faint sounds in the distance. At times, the group pauses at a faint trace, then quietly moves on. For the Hadzabe, understanding does not lie in words but in perception. The prey may be ahead, but it is never the only thing they focus on. They listen to the direction of the wind, watch birds suddenly change course. These small signals are enough to remind them that they are not the only ones hunting on this land. The breeding season is approaching, and the pace of the hunt slows down. At times, they deliberately change direction even when the tracks are still clear. This is not hesitation, but a survival instinct shaped over generations. On this land, the presence of a lion does not need to be seen to be felt. It shows in how they move, in the distance they keep from one another, and in knowing when to advance and when to wait. The hunt continues, but from this point on, every decision must be more precise. If you can feel the slow rhythm and the quiet tension of this hunt, don't forget to hit the like button. The silence lingers longer than usual. The scent in the air is still there, but this time it is no longer vague. Ahead, the lion gradually comes into clear view. Its movements are slow and heavy, as if the ground itself is holding it back. The Hads do not rush forward. They stand still long enough to observe the entire space, the distance, the wind direction, and the exhaustion visible in the animal's every movement. This is not a moment of impulse, but the result of countless observations, when all options to avoid the encounter no longer seem possible. One person steps forward half a step. The bow is raised steadily, fully controlled. There is no shouting, no haste. The others remain in place, forming a silent line where every movement carries meaning. In that moment, the savannah seems to hold its breath. The decision is made not to prove strength, but to end a threat that has lasted too long. The lion stops, then slowly lowers itself, as if accepting its own limits within the harsh cycle of nature. When the stillness returns, everything unfolds quickly, without excess. The Hads lower their bows and step back, returning the space to the savannah. For them, bringing down the lion is not a victory, but a necessary ending, one that ensures the safety of the camp and allows life to continue. The air softens, but there is no excitement, because they understand that on this land, every ending carries a lasting responsibility. Was this choice inevitable, a matter of survival, or a difficult boundary to accept? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Which means friend.
As the sunset fades over the savannah, the atmosphere in the Hadzabe camp begins to change. The steps on the way back grow lighter, and conversations become more lively. The tension of the day disappears. Food is prepared in a warm, welcoming mood. Each portion is passed from hand to hand, no one left behind. This meal is not just to fill empty stomachs, but a clear sign that life continues in the best way possible. As everyone begins to eat, conversations flow without pause. Laughter rises naturally, as if the entire camp has finally released what remained after a long, tense day.